Hello, and welcome to the Build Your Own Band podcast, the podcast made for independent artists who want to grow their band in an organic, purposeful, and self-determined manner. I'm your host, Vince Solaveri, and welcome to episode number 4 of Build Your Own Band. Before I introduce today's guest, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to the last episode, episode 3 with Adam Bentley of Ocho Research. In that last episode, we talked a bunch about what to do with your recorded music. How do you release it? When do you release it? What is the most effective strategy for you to be releasing and marketing your music in 2025? This episode was a little bit divisive. In the episode, we talked about the best practices of releasing your music in the digital music landscape that we find ourselves in. It wasn't really a representation of the world we necessarily want to live in when it comes to releasing our music, but it just happens to be the world that we are in. There's a lot of discourse in my comments, specifically on my TikTok comments, and I read through every comment that I receive. I don't necessarily reply to them all, but I'm always curious to hear your take on these episodes and what you think about the conversations that I'm having with our guests. I think there's a ton of handy and useful information in that episode, so if you haven't listened to it yet, go back and check it out. Adam is incredibly talented at what he does, and there are a lot of great pointers in there that you, as an independent artist, can utilize. But today's episode is arguably about the opposite. The guest of today's episode is a band from Halifax called Botfly, who are my dear friends who I've known for a long, long time. And they are a band that do not care about online numbers. They don't care about Spotify plays. They don't care about any sort of online engagement. Botfly's main tool for growing their band is touring and playing live music. Botfly is a completely independent band from a pretty isolated city on the coast of Canada that is Halifax. We talk about a lot of things in this episode, but one of the things we talk about is how getting out of your hometown and playing in front of as many people as possible is one of the best, most organic ways to get as many people seeing and listening to your band. Botfly has been independently touring for over a decade, and they've been all over North America. And as of the release of this episode, they will be playing shows in Europe. We talk about how this independent, genre, non-specific hardcore band is able to manage playing this many shows in this many places. This episode is a fun listen, so I hope you enjoy it. But before we kick into the interview, one of the things we talk about this episode is writing as a band and the importance of demoing during your songwriting process. If you're an independent musician and you have a small amount of recording experience, please check out my demo template that you can find at vincesolaveri.com/template. The demo template is a completely free songwriting template that you can load into your DAW of choice and plug in your microphone, plug in your guitar, and record your song. This template is completely mixed by me using stock and free plugins, so you don't have to spend a penny to get started. The template is available in Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, Reaper, and even GarageBand. You simply just record your song, and by the end of it, you have a nearly professional sounding track that you can send to your bandmates, local promoters, that accurately represents the music you're trying to make. And best of all, if you're trying to make a record with someone like me, this demo template will help save hours, sometimes even days, and thousands of dollars off your recording budget by producing yourself. So if you're interested in checking out this tool and learning more, go to vincesolaveri.com/template and download it today. If you're already making music with this template, please reach out to me and send me some demos that you're making. I would love to hear it. But without further ado, here's today's episode with Botfly. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for inviting us.
How was the commute from Halifax, Nova Scotia?
Well, we came from Toronto.
I know you came from Toronto, but for those listening, you're from Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, we are.
And we are in Hamilton, Ontario right now, so we're not neighbors.
Not even close.
Yeah, if you're not Canadian, it's like living in Texas. I'm in Texas and you're in New York City. That's like the like country span that we are between each other. Yeah. So was Toronto your first gig on this tour?
Yeah.
So when did you leave Halifax to get to Toronto last night?
Wednesday. But there's conditions to that because Dwayne lives in Montreal.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to practice.
Right. So
We practiced.
So this is a complicated band from the get-go. Just being from Halifax, where I feel like touring is maybe an essential, but recently you moved to Montreal. 3 of you guys are still out east.
Yeah.
Well,
but
yes,
Babs is actually in a different province now, too.
Yeah, I live in New Brunswick now.
Oh, shit. I did not know that. Okay. Give me we start touring a week. How do we get prepared version for you guys? What's like the thought process of like, okay, here's how we get together?
So because we travel with so much stuff, basically Sean and I get the van, which is an hour away from where we live. And then we have to bring it back, load it up, and we leave town on a good day by 10:30. It's 2.5 hours to get Babs. And then typically we go to the shop that he works at because he prints all of our merch. So that's another stop.
That's a crucial person to have in your band.
Big bonus. Yeah.
So then we finish loading up there, and then we usually trek to Edmundston. So the first day is about 8 to 10 hours, depending on how much dilly-dallying we do. And then the next day, we'll wake up, have breakfast, do the 6-hour drive to Montreal. And then it's get in the jam room for 2 to 3 hours.
So you're jamming in Montreal, obviously.
And through all that, I'm just living my normal life, waiting.
Oh, so you got the easiest job out of everybody.
It's dependent, because if a tour starts on the East Coast, he has to fly to us early.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I take back what I said.
To think about how funny the last tour was. Our last tour was us supporting. It was a co-headline with Single Mothers and Birds in Row, and we were support on it. So the first date was
Quebec City.
That doesn't seem like the best place to start, considering what you just told me.
No.
Yeah, so I live in Montreal. They live in Halifax, which is...
It's a 12-hour straight drive. So with stops about 14.
So I flew to Halifax. We rehearsed for an afternoon, right?
A couple days.
A couple days. We wrote for one day.
Oh, yeah, we had... Yeah. And then 2 days after I flew to Halifax, we got in the van and drove back to Quebec, where I started.
And
To
then,
pick up Birds in Row.
To pick up Birds.
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah. So I flew from Montreal to Halifax. We rehearsed for 2 days. We got in the van, drove back to Montreal to pick up Birds in Row, to then drive back towards the East Coast to Quebec City to start the tour.
that's wild.
Yeah, because it went Quebec City, Fredericton, Halifax, Moncton, St. John. So like basically drove to Montreal, looped all the places you can play all the way back to Montreal, and then came to Ontario.
That's crazy.
It was a lot of driving.
That's a lot of gas.
Sure was.
That leads to... Go ahead.
Luckily, we, like, us and Birds in Row were in the van together, so we had 2 bands in one van, which is always pretty helpful.
Right. That's some decent cost effectiveness.
Yeah.
Take notes, bands out there.
Yeah. Straight
Split
up.
everything.
Well, that does bring up a good question for people who have maybe never toured before, of just like the cost of touring, especially on an independent level, is not a profit-driven motive.
Certainly not.
You know, and going to like the beginning of the band, being from Halifax, it doesn't feel like the type of city in which you can just play your local town or play like the surrounding areas, and just like, if you're a band from Toronto, you can play in Toronto forever and have a career, basically.
Yeah.
Halifax, a little bit of a different story. So maybe if you can take us back to when the band started and what led to your first tour.
I wanted to see No Warning.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
So you were traveling, what was that, in like Quebec or something like that? Hardfest?
No.
Right.
So I had played Ottawa Explosion, which was an older festival in Ottawa, a few times with some of my pop punk bands. So I had friends there. So we booked a matinee in Ottawa the day of Heartfest that No Warning was headlining. We played the show, and then we drove across the bridge to Gatineau, saw No Warning.
I have a note. Dwayne was the one that wanted to take us there. Within 30 seconds, got punched in the eye and went outside and laid down for the whole set.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a little messed up.
Which eye?
My left eye.
You can't even tell. You look great.
Thank you. And if you know anything about No Warning, the set always starts with a riff. That's just it's like just a guitar riff, nothing else going on. And before one pass of that riff happened, I got punched in the eye.
Damn. You can't say that you didn't give it your all.
Yeah. But I think that was the first tour we did. Like, I think you guys played PEI a couple times without me before then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the first time leaving the region completely and making it out of the East Coast.
Right. So
we played 2 shows. We played Ottawa, and then on the way home we played Montreal,
So
which we hopped on a grindcore show.
That must have been fun.
It was sick.
Kind of sick.
It was sick. Yeah.
I mean, the beauty about Botfly, as a slight aside away from touring, is that, and I've said it before, I just feel like Botfly can play any show with any band under the umbrella of guitar music and get away with it. You know what I mean? There's very, very, very few bands that can do that. Most bands are pinned to a genre. If they branch out of that genre, it's like 50% chance whether it's going to fly or not. But Botfly is not that, in my opinion. I feel like Botfly can
It's
play.
a double-edged sword, but we've been fortunate for sure.
Yeah. And, because when you're a band like that, you don't have any specific pocket to live in and like to thrive in. You kind of have to dig your own pocket to exist in. And I wonder if that played a part in why you guys tour so relentlessly, because you don't need to. But in a way you do, right? You know, like, I guess that kind of comes down to like what you want the band to be. And you've been doing it for 10 years, you know what I mean? Like, what is the motivation for doing, 10 years ago, No Warning was the motivation. What's the motivation now?
I think if I take it from here, No Warning was definitely the fun reason, but the lack of initial care from our hometown made us say, well, if we can't find it here, we'll find it somewhere else, which for better or for worse worked. That could just be internalized issues when we were younger of feeling certain ways or insecurities or whatever, but it definitely pushed us to say, well, like, we want to do this. We want to do it our way. If you don't want to hear it, we'll find somewhere that does. And certainly pushed us to just keep going. And it did work. So, but for now, I think we just got so used to this being our life and what we love to do, because we can't live off doing this, but like, I think every single one of us, if I do say so, has adapted our lives so that we can continue to make this an essential part of it.
Right.
Because we're artists, we're musicians. This is our art, and we want to express it, and we hope that people continue to enjoy it. So, as
a longtime fan, I remember the first time I saw you guys. I think it was in 2016.
Shout out Sleep Shaker.
So I did that Sleep Shaker tour. Only time I'd ever been in the East Coast, and I remember we played an early show and a late show, and you guys played the early show at what was called Plan B. I have no idea what that place could be now.
I think it's a Greco. Or it's the electric scooters.
Yeah, electric scooters, yeah.
Okay.
But it used to be like an oddities consignment shop.
Yeah, that's what it was when I saw you guys.
Yeah, and they
would
would rent their back room to us for pretty cheap, and that's kind of how the era of this band, the era of the scene in Halifax that this band resided at the time kind of began. I feel like it was like a new era for the city.
Right.
It should be noted too, Bob that ran that place, like, he didn't care about the music we were playing, but he would never shut down the shop on a curfew for anyone.
Right.
He just wanted our city to have a place for people like us.
Yeah.
I think it was $60 to rent the room.
Really? Oh
It
my
was
God.
cheap.
And that was a good size room for those kind of shows.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of people that maybe, would stop in and book a show and keep going. But during that era, I think I was booking a lot of shows there, and a few of like the crust punks in the city were booking a lot of shows there. So we kind of like felt something special with what we were creating. Right. And he would always just give us a discount or, not be in a rush to get paid for the rental fee. It was a very DIY situation. It was a room, not much bigger than this whole jam space, and you would bring your own PA and just grip it and rip it.
Yeah. Strictly providing walls and electricity, and then the band provides the rest.
I feel like it was an old oddball recognizing younger oddballs and trying to give them a place to be themselves.
Kind of feels like a similar situation with like Soy Bomb in Toronto, where it's just like, just someone being like, oh, I wish I had this when I was younger. Oh, I can provide this? Okay, I'm going to do it. And suddenly bands like you, bands like Sleep Shaker, that I remember, God, I want to name all the bands that played, but I don't know who's defunct or if they changed their name, or I don't know the
probably
situation.
all gone.
Yeah, they might be all gone. Pale Lake maybe played one of those shows, but they weren't Pale Lake at the time.
They were probably Chamber.
I think they were Chamber. Yeah, I remember seeing Chamber. And
They
that
just
was
broke up too.
Rest in peace.
Wow.
Rest in
Okay.
peace.
So you guys are the exception to the rule.
Somehow.
Yeah. Do you feel like touring is why you're the exception to the rule? Does it keep you going? Like if touring, take the pandemic for an example, like what were the steps to keep the band existing when playing shows it wasn't viable?
In Nova Scotia, we kind of like everybody got bubbled, but Nova Scotia as a province got bubbled, and nobody had moved away yet. So, other than like super strict lockdowns, we were always able to jam.
Right.
So, we kept writing, we kept jamming. We didn't know what was going on. We had to cancel American tours. We had to, like everybody else, we lost out on playing live, but we were able to at least get in a room together for about 80% of the time. Well, it was severe. We would get shut down where we had to stay in our houses, but Babs and I lived together at the time. I mean, that was kind of when we integrated
era,
Babs
yeah.
into the band, and we had the time to just hang out and
we
play
just
the
started
songs.
writing. I learned all the tracks at the house.
So, and also when I think about that point, like, I know me particularly, but maybe the band as a whole was starting to get a negative relationship with touring.
Okay.
Where for me, it was escapism to a degree. I was like, well, if I go do this, I don't have to deal with the problems that I'm avoiding at home, kind of thing. And kind of forcing our hand to be like, yo, you gotta stay home, kind of made me, at least, but I think all of us, take a look at our lives that we were avoiding, like the parts that we all love to not think about.
Yeah, a real stop and think moment.
And I think it made us all address that, and which was a good thing. I mean, we were all at a certain age where, it was about time. We weren't young enough anymore to be like, well, whatever, like we're young and dumb, we could just run away.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it was definitely the proper time for us all to take a step back and be like, okay, we need to be more calculated about what we're doing here and realize why we're trying to do this and do it for the right reasons.
Right. Yeah. Did you feel like in hindsight that kind of, nature forcing you to take a break, do you look back at that fondly and being like, oh, that actually established the health of the band going forward? Like, do you look at that as like a blessing in disguise, or do you still look at like, fuck the pandemic, I wish that never happened?
I mean, obviously,
Yeah, we're all going to always say that.
Of course.
Yeah. But I do think that, I don't think it changed much for me, but I feel like it really solidified Keegan's at-home life, which made it easier to kind of organize what we wanted to do as a whole in terms of touring. And I feel like we really doubled down on what we wanted to do and going for chances and realizing that we're doing it because, for many reasons, but it's just because we love doing it.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's definitely not for monetary reasons. I don't think it's to get away from anything anymore. I was talking about this last night with someone, and it's just, I don't really know how to do anything else anymore. Like, when I don't have a tour planned, I feel unsettled and I'm trying to get the next thing ready. Right. And then once I get back from tour, I'm like, okay, I got to figure out and get ready for the next thing. Yeah, I feel like, if anything, the pandemic just made us hone in on what we wanted to do and do it rather than waiting for it to come to us.
Right. Like a more focused version of the band from that point forward.
Yeah, certainly. And just like, instead of saying like, oh, we need to go on tour again, it started to become more of a, how do we make the next tour better? Let's do the steps to do that, as opposed to just going and hoping for the best. And I think that's certainly worked, and with the offers and chances that have been given to us as of the past few years, I feel like we've been very fortunate. I mean, we're a band from nowhere desirable, yet we still get asked.
Depends who you ask.
Well, yeah, in the terms of touring bands, like, I love where I live. I love being from the East Coast. I love being right by the ocean. Like, I couldn't not live that way. But as far as trying to do what we do, it's not easy. We're not in the easy place to do it. I mean, geez,
No.
we were thinking about it today. We drove 25 minutes to the new big town today.
Right.
which we can't do.
It takes me 25 minutes to go from my house to Halifax.
That puts it into a little bit of perspective, But it feels like, in the year 2025, there are bands out there that record music, they put it on the internet, they maybe play a few shows supporting that single or that record, and then they kind of go back to the lab, so to speak. And a lot of people repeat that cycle. A lot of people rely on social media or some sort of like digital marketing to kind of help grow their band. While, years ago, touring was the only way that you could really do that. And you guys are sticking to this kind of like classic formula of how to grow your band. Where do you think the band would be if you weren't touring? And do you see a direct correlation from you going farther and farther away from home, playing the States, playing places you've never played before, and seeing your band grow in any sort of, whether it's Spotify plays or whether it's downloads or record sales? Like, do you see a correlation between that, or does it kind of feel like sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, it's a little bit random?
I don't know how to gauge the numbers.
Yeah, it seems random to me. The places that we play where people really get it, the loyalty always lies. We're not a band that, we're a band that's been very lucky. We've get to play shows that are typically always good at this point in time, but we don't have good numbers online. We don't have huge followers. Like, we've never played that game because we don't really know how or want to. This isn't supposed to be mean to anybody in any way, but we're a band that plays music. I don't know how to be quote unquote cool on the internet,
I also feel like the live aspect is such a cathartic part of it all for us. Like, this is like, for all of us, a very therapeutic, emotional thing. And I feel like the creativity and writing music together and then performing it together is where the joy lies for us. And then when we're not doing that, we're kind of just living our lives and then popping in and out of each other's lives doing this. Making a reel to pop on a fucking Meta server to make Zuckerberg some money is like, I don't care. I think to learn.
Well, I
don't know how to game the system, and also like I don't know if it's going to translate to anything different live, because I see people with amazing numbers on all platforms, and the live shows are still not that well attended. And if it's not going to translate to a live aspect, then it's just racking up a couple extra cents.
Game. Exactly.
To be fair, everybody's got to play shows to nobody.
Yeah,
everybody.
You got to pay your dues. Like, there's a reason
you're gonna do it,
yeah.
no matter, unless you just want to play your hometown for the rest of your life. And that's fine. But if you want to travel, you're gonna play nobody.
Well, it's an investment that you make in your band. Of like, if you really believe in what you do, and obviously you guys do, and I feel like anybody who plays music should believe in what they're doing. If you don't, you should do something else. Frankly, if you believe in what you're doing, you can see the forest through the trees, so to speak. Of like, you play a show in, name a random town. I don't know. Owen Sound. You play a show in Owen Sound to 3 people, and those 3 people are all the people working at the bar. Some bands might be in like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I got to regroup and rethink my life. And I feel like that's not the mindset that you guys have whatsoever. You see that and be like,
we certainly all have had that mindset at one point in time on a bad show, but no, we get through it.
For the record, there was 7 people at that Owen Sound show.
You're breaking barriers.
And it was
hey, that could be the whole seed at that point. It was like 2016, man.
Yeah. And it was playing Owen Sound in 2016, like, you were ahead of the curve. No diss to anybody listening from Owen Sound.
We loved it there.
Exactly.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Russ, man.
Yeah.
Sour Couch Records.
But I do feel like, when you play one of those shows, the mindset for your band is just like, this is something we got to do to build to the thing that we want to build to. Like, you don't see it as like this like shitty thing that's happening to you in this immediate moment. You just see it part of this journey.
I don't even think I see it as a shitty moment.
You're playing music at the end of the day. Like, it's pretty cool,
still
right?
playing music.
If anything, I'm like, this is what goes through my head. I see 5 people in the crowd. I realize that for them, to be there, they must really want to be there. They must really want to see us, or they're working. Either way, I feel like the dynamic of a show, the atmosphere is going to be at a lower energy level. And I think I just transfer that low energy into my performance to try to give them the most energetic performance I could possibly give them. I think I play my best shows the less people are there because I want them to leave and be in awe and like excited about what they just saw.
We've all been the kid with 4 of our friends as the only attendees to a touring band.
Yeah. I think about when we played in Pittsburgh to 4 people. Those people came. We were the only band on the bill, really, that had a name. They must have wanted to see us. So we played for them, and that was it.
Well, I feel like, and as a person who's been preaching the gospel of Botfly for almost 10 years now, like word of mouth truly, it's a long-term investment, but like it works. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, when I'd be like, yo, you got to go see Botfly. Like, Botfly's playing whatever venue you're playing in Hamilton that year. I was like, you got to go. Like, if I tell 50 people that, even if 2 or 3 people listen to me and come see you, it's just going to spider web from there. And I truly feel like, aside from the one time I saw you in Halifax, every time I've seen you, it's like a level up. Like, you're like a Pokemon that's evolving. And I feel like every time I see you guys, it's like, it's just a brand new beast. I'm not a Pokemon guy. I'm sorry. I hate to be the bummer in the room.
It's all good.
I'm a Mario dude. And even then,
we're all Machamps.
Yeah.
I think me and Sean might be Machokes at this point.
Yeah. Okay, I'm more of a Mankey type of guy. Babs is working towards being a Hitmonlee.
Yeah.
Do me now. Don't worry. You don't have to.
Poliwhirl.
Yeah.
Okay, of course.
More like
Anyway,
Mr.
so enough of this tangent. Let's go
here.
But yeah, no, I feel like when you just go into a room, play your music, and obliterate people, like, that does so much for just the essence of your band, and it's a memorable thing that people are going to think about for a long. If they care about music at all, they're going to think about it for a long time. They're going to tell people about it.
We live in this world where, I don't want to sound so straight and narrow, but the likes, the numbers, it's everything. But like, we all see the internet going in a crazy way.
Yeah,
all that could disappear, and word of mouth is going to be the only thing.
It used to work, and it still works.
It still works. I mean, we're not a band with huge numbers, but when we play, there's always people who want to come back and see us, and I'm so thankful for all those people. But it just reminds me that even though the way that we did it may not be the popular way to do it now, it worked for us. And I think it's that hard work pays off, fruits of the labor type of thing. I think it is the way that works. And some people get lucky breaks because they're maybe located in a place where they have opportunities more readily available. And some people just get that lucky bump because of the internet or something. You never know. Or they know somebody. I mean, these are all truths. But if you are honest and you work hard and you believe in the music that you're making, people will resonate with that no matter what.
for sure. And you got to be good. You guys won't say it, but I'll say it for you. You guys are an incredibly good live band. Like you're so dialed in every time I see, you know, and I feel like a part of the reason why you're so good is because you like that stage legs kind of term really has some weight. Like when you're just like in a room, you play a room like this with no PA and stuff like that. Like all you have on your side is yourselves and your gear and how you dial it in. Like when you play as many shows as you do and it's time to write new songs and go and record, how do you think touring so much and playing so much shows influences how you create music?
This is where I'm completely confused at this point. I feel like we're just building those roads as we go.
Right.
Especially where me and Babs, we can no longer jam songs.
Right. Because of that distance between everybody.
There's also the reality that we've been a band for 11 years. So we know what we want out of each other.
Right.
Like when Keegan delivers a song, he knows what each one of us is going to supply to the song.
Yeah, right.
Like,
It's
we
not
get it
just
in
a
our
riff.
box. Yeah.
It's like an ensemble presented.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like in the early days it was a lot of riffs, and we're playing the riffs, and we're just seeing where we naturally go. I feel like, especially in the era of the three of us, it was very much this is the riff, and we just play it for 15 minutes, and dynamically it changes, and we try different things, and we do that for a few weeks, and then we start to hone it in. Now it's completely different. A lot is Keegan fully fleshing out a demo of a song, showing us.
I've gotten so good at programming jumps. I just got to pat myself on
It's
the back.
really impressive. It's very
it's-
impressive.
What do you use?
It's crazy.
Get good drums.
Oh, that's me as well. Modern and Massive. Always get some play.
From a guy who used to like not be able to work an interface.
I couldn't record guitar like 2
It's
years
so
ago.
impressive.
Wow.
Yeah,
Maybe-
for a while it was Keegan would send some riffs, maybe to a click, maybe not, and then I would program drums and I would send them back, and then he would re-record everything over top of that. Now it's kind of like Keegan does a full demo, and we start to learn it and put our little touches on it as we go individually, and we record separately. Like, I mean, Babs did the EP, you went to town for it, but you did your parts for the last
EP.
comp song in Moncton, right?
Yeah, and yeah,
And I
I did
did
all
drum.
my for open letters. I did my guitar tracks and vocals with Keegan in Halifax. And then for all the electronics and programming, I just went home and just set up a little lab in my room.
Yeah, and for the last song we put out for shout out to Be About It, a compilation out of Montreal with just hardcore bands across Canada. Keegan had a demo we sent me, and I listened to it for a week and recorded it with Max from Spite House, just the drums, and then I sent that to Keegan, and Keegan did pretty much everything else in Halifax.
Yeah, I built a little studio in my basement
Nice.
so that like adapting to continue to do this because it would have been a hell of a lot easier for us to be like, well, we've had a good run.
Yeah.
Keep in touch. Love you guys. Like we'll hang out.
That's
But
just not it.
None of us wanted that.
And I feel like we really didn't know what was going to happen. Like when I moved, I bought the JMOS drum sound, the room sound
Yeah.
pack, because I was like, I don't know how else we're going to do this. I guess I'll just have to write drums like this. And it's kind of weird that we've been doing it this way. And then we play the songs live. And when we're playing them live, I'm like, yeah, it does feel like us. It's still
Right.
I think it goes back to that, like, we know what we want of each other.
Yeah.
So if I'm writing a full demo, I'm not writing drums in a way that he wouldn't play.
Right.
I'm not writing guitar riffs or vocal lines or bass riffs or any of these things that I may contribute to or write. I'm not writing them to be a different band. Like, this is the, for all intents and purposes, like, the ideas start in my head, and they always have. So the band's always going to sound like the band because I bring an idea and then it's all four of us at the end.
Right.
So luckily, we can continue to do that separately.
Sounds like you guys need your own line of plugins. The Botfly pack.
Hit
And
my
he's-
line, man. Hit my line.
might have to come do those drums with you, though.
Yeah. We'll make it happen for sure.
The tone pack.
Listen, off camera.
Just a
We'll
PD
talk
studio.
about. We'll talk about capturing the rig
problem.
off camera. But it really sounds like you guys are adapting as a band in any way that you absolutely need to. Like, it's not the easy route, but it's just like, well, this is the cards that are dealt to us of where we live and our capacities and this and that. Let's figure out a way to make it work. And it sounds like you guys have. And I feel like, hold on, this is a part that I'm going to need to edit out because I don't know.
Well, I just like to say, Botfly isn't me and people supporting me. Botfly is these people in this room.
Yeah.
I couldn't do this band with other people adding their influences. Like, it's these four influences that make our sound. Because it could have been easier to just replace Dwayne,
Right.
or replace Babs, but that's not what this band is.
No.
I can just start another band if I needed to do that.
Yeah. And you guys do play in other projects, right? Yeah.
I think everyone except Keegan
I have
does.
projects.
got something.
But I mean, does currently that would play shows.
Yeah. But again, like this project takes up a lot of creative space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
for sure.
When I like switch to playing country music, it's like a full, like I gotta switch gears completely because
Yeah.
it's such a different bag.
So bad that he just stops talking to us. So that-
Oh, wow.
I have
just
to
kidding, I'm just-
practice so hard.
Well, Babs, you coming into the fold is interesting to me because I feel like even though you didn't formally join the band until 2020 or so, you've kind of been in the band the whole time in a way, right?
I mean,
Like you've been part of the
like-
family.
yeah, I'm definitely part of the family.
Yeah.
I'm just close friends with these guys. I used to just go to the shows just to mosh,
Right.
and then I would
local
like
sound guy for a while.
I would just always come out and do sound for them because I understood what they were trying to do. I knew how to deal with big amps. I knew that it was a pain, and I would just be like, "I got it, guys."
Yeah.
We had big amps back then too.
Yeah. So
Yeah, the amount of amps that you guys have did not change from a 3-piece to a 4-piece.
no, just one of the guys
smaller.
came
It
over to
got
me.
smaller.
Did it get smaller? Oh, interesting. I remember.
I'm not sure if you remember that house show.
I was just about to mention the
where
house
it was
show.
a wall.
Yes.
Cops came.
There's just 3 cabs
Yeah.
now. There's just 3 cabs.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a cab each.
You guys are such a gem when it comes to playing shows and touring because you do not hold your gear near and dear to your heart. You are backlining every show that you possibly can. Like the amount of gear that's in your van at this current moment is like more than the local music store in Hamilton, which doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, and you're not shy about letting everybody use your beautiful Emperor cabinet. Shout out Emperor.
Yo, shout out Emperor. Yeah.
There's a 59 Ludwig in there too that's going to get tossed around tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like every time, at least every time I played with Botfly, it's always been like, oh, sick, I get to use their gear. And I've
Yeah.
never sounded better playing through your gear. But I think that goes back to just like being good people. And
Well, if we're gonna
you know,
show up and be like, we're using this shit, how rude is it to just be like, and you can't
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
bring
how,
your own?
But how much does that help you, when it comes to like networking of just being like, hey, band I've never met before that maybe we could possibly link up and create something or go on tour with, like, what better way to strike a conversation to be like, hey, do you want to use my drums? Do you want to use my amp? And like, I do think that has worked for you guys. Like,
Oh yeah, I think we
Go-
became
yeah.
instant friends with Drew Thompson. As soon as I was like, "Yo, leave your shit downstairs. We got you,
Yeah.
man." I think he gave me a hug without even knowing who I was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like that's like where the Birds and Row friendship solidified so quick is that they flew over with basically just breakables, just their breakables and
they're coming
guitars.
from France?
France.
From,
Yeah.
from France? Yeah.
from Lyon. And they flew in and hopped in the van and we just rocked our backline and
Like meeting that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got you. That's it.
so I think it does help like form connections and friendships. But like that's not the point, obviously.
No.
I don't know if I just want people to be able to perform their best without having
Yeah.
to stress about anything else.
At the end of the day, the only thing precious is creating the bonds that you meet with people in this scene. I mean, that is how it thrives.
Yeah. Well, playing shows is nothing but a people-driven thing that you do. Like, you don't play shows. I've always had this mindset, and this is something that always bothers me with bands of I'm wearing this Kiss crew neck right now because they're one of my favorite bands of all time, and I know they're a very divisive band, and for a good reason. But it's just like these dudes were wearing this makeup when they were playing to nobody in 1974 in New York City because they knew that they just needed to go on stage and put on a show and captivate people. There are other bands out there that just like kind of walk up in their street clothes and just go on stage and basically do a live band rehearsal on stage without even considering the audience at all. And I feel that has always broke my brain. Just like, why are you doing this? Like, you're loading all your gear into a venue to play a show in front of people.
Who paid?
Who paid? You have a due diligence to serve those people. They are in a way just paying customers. Like, you're there to entertain them. And I've never understood why certain bands have this split in their brain of just like, oh, I just want to do whatever I'm doing and not think about the audience at all. Because I feel like the audience is the purpose for being there. Why not serve them? Like, that's the only purpose of what we do. And I think stuff like that builds community and it grows everything that you do when there's more people just surrounding what you do. Like, it is a very people driven thing to do, to play shows. Like, there's no other reason for doing it.
If they don't come, the show doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say that I can't say that I'm not fully guilty of I guess doing what you're saying that we don't do.
Right.
Because there is shows where I do feel very selfish. There is shows where I don't feel like the crowd is my crowd and like my emotions in the moment take over. And I can't say I'm not guilty of doing that. But it's in those moments that I realize that it's not a one-way transaction. You know, like I'm getting paid to do this thing to entertain people. But that doesn't mean that I just get to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, there is, and different crowds feel different ways about different things. And like what to you feels cathartic and cool in a basement in Hamilton with a bunch of your best friends is not what a bunch of people in a hall during a festival also thinks is cool and interesting and fun to see. And I think that's an important thing to notice too, is that every person that's coming to see you is very important, but they're not all coming from the same scene.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a group of people, but at the end of the day, they're all individual people in that room. But isn't that a fun little game to try and figure out? It'd be like, oh, what is going to make this crowd pop off?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like
It's fun until it's not working.
Yeah, we could go from like one region and be like, oh, we could be playing hardcore shows. So we like start feeling very like, oh, we're playing hardcore, meat and potatoes hardcore. And then all of a sudden we're on a Screamo show and we're trying to do that. And people fucking hate us because they're like, these guys are macho and they want to start fights and stuff. And it's like, no, this is like our catharsis.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's interesting in that way.
Once again, I always feel like Botfly kind of teeters between like genres. And I feel like you're right in between, in a similar way that Converge is. And I've always kind of drawn parallels between you guys and Converge. It's just like you can play with the hardcore bands and you can play with the Screamo bands, or you can play, like.
Then that's like, those are
like
all
a post-metal
influences
band
for
or
us.
something.
Yeah.
It's all influences for us. We're influenced by everything like that. So
much of your touring has been in Canada and between the East Coast and kind of Ontario. Have you gone west much?
yes.
We did West Coast once, yeah.
And you've been to the States. How many times have you played the States?
4.
Right. So if anybody
An extensive, like, we've done 1 week, we've done 3 weeks, we've been down there for a while.
For anybody who isn't from Canada, the torture of being a Canadian band and trying to play internationally, especially in the States, is visas. And when you guys played the States, was it through visas, or did you kind of do like a picks and sticks scenario?
Always visas. I'm not trying to get banned at the border.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
shout outs to everyone who gets away with it. Keep that hustle going, but I am too scared.
of course.
we'd like to go back.
Yeah, if the DOJ is listening, we pay our money. Don't worry.
Well, I'm just kind of curious because I feel like for a lot of bands, like especially Ontario bands, like being in Hamilton, like we're an hour away from the Buffalo border. We're like a couple hours away from the Detroit border. Like we're very close to the States, and I feel like people will go to Niagara Falls or St. Catharines. They'll stop there because there's that literally financial and physical barrier to access to play on the other side of the border. And you guys have kind of traversed that by getting your visas, which everybody knows is an awful experience. But I'm just kind of curious, like, what was your experience trying to get visas? And for anybody listening who is daunted by the experience of doing that, like, what's something they should look out for?
The first time's the scariest because I might even be guilty for this too, but I try not to be. But because it's actually not as scary and difficult as you first think it is, everybody you ask to help is like, oh, don't worry about it. You're going to be fine. And you're just literally pulling your hair out being like, I'm going to get arrested for doing something completely legal.
Yeah.
Like you're paying your money. You're getting the proper, it is not as scary as it seems, but you do have to have your ducks in a row. I will happily answer anyone's questions on how to make your visa last the whole year, but I will not do it on the podcast. So just reach out to me because there
bonus
are some
episode.
loopholes. Yeah, on the Patreon. Yeah. But there's some loopholes that you
might
want to
put a censor over all of
Yeah.
it.
Well, I can help whoever has questions when
Good to
they're
know.
doing their visas for the first time. But
Put your email in the show notes.
Yeah.
At the end of the
Band
day,
email, not personal.
Of course.
at the end of the day, it's a monetary hurdle. Not everyone is in the position to pay that. I think it's worth it,
I also think it's worth it.
but it's just a monetary hurdle. Like the logistics aren't that hard to figure out. The union will help you. You kind of have to be part of the union to get through anyways, and they make it a breeze. It's just a lot of paperwork and waiting.
Right.
There's also like expanding is always incredible, but investing in your local area is just as important.
Right.
Just because a couple cities don't do that great in your local area doesn't mean you have to pay all the money to go to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Like scenes ebb and flow, and you gotta foster. If you want to be a touring band, you have to be a part of fostering those scenes. It just is what it is.
Well, it all grows from there. Like it all stems from a small scene and kind of explodes from there. And that throughout the history of time, it's always started with whether it was DC and Bad Brains and Minor Threat, or whether it was LA with Black Flag. Like it all started in these very like centralized local areas, and then suddenly it just kind of, for one reason or another, spread the way it did. And yeah, I think what you're saying is extremely important, of just like, you can't just skip a step. You can't just skip, well, we're here and we're frustrated, well, let's just skip to, you know, the third or fourth rung on the ladder.
You
like,
also never know who's at their first show.
right.
Someone came up to me after the show last night and said it was their first show, and they were so excited.
Wow.
You never know what that's going to spark in someone.
Of course.
And he might not have been from Toronto. You know, he could go back to his small town, but I want to do this here now. You really never know who's going to get sparked and inspired to do something in a place that is not currently happening.
And I think that's the beauty of, and I wouldn't say this is the only genre that has it, but like playing heavy music and hardcore and, you know, rock music in general. Like I
So
really
DIY.
yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like when I was younger and I got like this little morsel of something that I was excited about, like I felt like I needed to dive in. I needed to fully dive in and be like, I need to immerse myself in everything that this thing is. And I feel like the more you get older, the more your kind of interests in things shrink a little bit and it kind of goes away. And, you know, when you plant those seeds with a younger generation and you see them kind of like take it and run with it and do that thing, I feel like it, at least for me, like it reinvigorates what I do. Like when I get beaten down and be like, oh my God, I'm bored of this. Like I'm sick of this. And you see like, you know, an 18-year-old kid that reminds you of yourself, get stoked on the thing that you're making. Suddenly it like gives you purpose again. And it just like, that sometimes is the thing that makes you keep the train going.
If you see an 18-year-old kid rip off your stage moves, don't be bummed.
Yeah, coolest thing
That-
ever.
That is a compliment, and let them do it.
Yeah,
They'll figure their own way eventually.
Yeah.
I think that was a big reason why we kept touring after the pandemic. Is when we came back, people were so excited, and there was
a whole new
bands,
young generation.
All these
too,
bands
yeah.
started, and it was just like a whole reason to be like, okay, let's keep doing this because there's so much more now. It's so much fun.
And I, you know, not to talk too much about the pandemic, but we all experienced it, and there was a lot of, you know, negative feelings that we all have as a result of it. But like, you know, towards the end of 2022 into 2023, when like restrictions started opening up and stuff like that, like I think a lot of people were really pent up and angry and kind of pissed off. And I feel like what better genre of music to get into, to get your frustrations out than heavy music. And I think that kind of influenced the boom that we saw with bands like Turnstile and bands like Knock Loose. And I think like that boom of heavy music kind of infiltrated and permeated like smaller scenes and stuff like that. And I just feel like everywhere it kind of popped up and it just started kind of going wild. Did you notice a stark difference from playing your last show in 2019 and playing your first show in 2022 or whenever it was? Like, did you feel a difference?
I'll put it this way. Our last shows in 2019, hometown shows on a good day, 80 people. Our first show back, albeit record release, 150 people sold out the day, like the moment door open. Wow. No tickets.
Holy shit.
So like the desire for people to want to experience almost anything at that point in time that wasn't staring at a TV.
Yeah.
It was palpable.
Yeah. What's the vibe when you go to a show versus when you're playing a show? What's the what how do you feel, and what's the vibe that you get from people around you when you're not actually playing a show?
Let's let Sean answer a question for once.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, the difference between like going to a show and like playing a show, it's always felt like going to a show, you're always just like hanging at the back, just like watching, just like, taking notes on what's up and what people are enjoying at the moment. But playing a show, it's like, I'm there to do my fucking thing,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a job.
Yeah.
You feel like you're like, okay, I'm at work.
Yeah. It's like whenever you're
A
at
job
your
we
show.
enjoy.
Yeah, it's like, but you got a fucking thing you got to do.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean we're quote unquote on the clock.
Yeah.
I don't go to nearly enough shows, and I say it every year to myself that I'm going to do more. I try to think about going to all ages shows more because it matters more to see what's happening there than it does at a bar for me personally.
Yeah, definitely.
But at the same time, like I am 34 and have some serious responsibilities. I run another business outside of this.
Yeah.
I have a wife and a house that I gotta take care of. Like there's a lot of things that
sure.
mean on a Friday night when a show's starting at 11 o'clock, I don't know if I'm even awake anymore,
Yeah.
So there's the kid in me wants to keep going and keep being there, but it gets tough and it's not an excuse. It's just reality, and people can feel however they want about that. But when you play 40, 50 shows a year and work full time, and then there's a local show that is kind of interesting, well, then you tell me if you're going to go or not.
Yeah.
I mean, every day is different. You never know what kind of energy you're going to have left, and if that's where you want to put it, or if like, again, we're all at a certain age where, not to use buzzwords, but we kind of do self-care. Like I need to keep myself in check, and I think everybody else is the same. Like I need to be feeling good.
Yeah.
Especially when you are playing a lot of shows and touring, like it's not easy on your body and mind. That like the home time that you have, I'm sure you guys take very, very serious
Precious.
care of. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. So in a way, as awful as it sounds, not going to shows is actually good for the music community on your guys' standpoint, because it allows you to play more shows in farther places.
I do feel that we all keep in touch with what's going on in our cities and like are still very much part of the community there.
Yeah, I mean, we help anyone coming through, whatever that means. If you need a place to stay, you need to figure out who to contact. Like, we're still helping out.
Yeah. I mean, I found that like as we get older, or as I get older, what I do for the scene changes. Like I used to be recording, and now I'm screen printing.
Yeah,
Used
your
to be
life still
sound. I used
revolves
to be sound.
around
I'm
it.
still
Yeah.
very involved, but
There's an involvement
what
in
I
the
do
music
in the scene
and
is
yeah.
different.
I kind of take the same route, where it's just like, I record a lot of bands, and those bands are playing shows, and people are reacting to the music that I help them create in a way that gives me an excuse to not put on real pants. Off my house in a way. As awful as that sounds.
There's a lot of behind the scenes work that happened to keep a scene healthy.
Yeah.
And going to shows is probably the top of the list. It's
true.
But it doesn't mean that the other things aren't important.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when you're playing a lot of shows and you work in the music industry, like when you see how the sausage is made, so to speak, sometimes that kind of changes your enjoyment of things, where it's just like, imagine working, I don't know, if you worked at a restaurant and then you went to go out to eat, it's hard for you to disconnect from like, oh, what are the people in the kitchen doing as well? You know what I mean?
I'm like, I know how that was made. I don't like that print, whatever.
Like whenever I go to a show and somebody's taking forever to get off stage,
Dude.
it bothers me so much. I'm like,
If I'm at a
it's
show,
like you're breaking down your cymbals
man.
like on stage.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, after playing enough shows, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
man?
15-minute
stresses me
changeover
out.
should be a leisure amount.
Yes, you should be good. It's very stressful.
Well, younger bands and people who are inexperienced, like sometimes they just make those rough decisions that cascade and affect other people. But like, where did you guys learn it from? Was it just innate, or was there a band that kind of you saw that you kind of modeled yourself after?
Did you see how much gear we used to bring?
Oh yeah,
So-
it was this wall of if this was all your gear, this is how much you used to travel with.
Yeah, so we had that and a 15-minute changeover, if that, most nights. And I think a kind of just necessity. It was get on as fast as you can, get off as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Right.
We're also very hard on each other. Like, if someone comes up and is like trying to ask me a question or whatever, and I obviously would love to entertain them, I'll hear Dwayne yelling at me to get the hell off the stage. Come to the merch table. I'll be there, talk to me there. But yeah, like, if any of us get distracted, it's always like, yo, not the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's just us holding each other to a professionalism, because that's how we feel we are, and that's what we want in return. So
Yeah.
So right before like the first Botfly show, our original drummer Chris Murdoch, he just mentioned, he's like, get off stage as fast as possible. And for some reason, that's something that like really stuck. So like legitimately, it's like before we play the last note, like I already have all my shit unplugged and I'm starting to fucking wrap this shit up, like immediately.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that's kind of where that got like instilled in me.
Yeah.
But,
And I think it's gone to serve you in the sense where it's just like, because you're such a good band to share the stage with, and you help backline and you tear down quickly and you're fun to hang out with. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's sort of afforded you some pretty cool opportunities in which like not every band gets to go on tour with Single Mothers and twice and Cancer Bats and Comeback Kid. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when these maybe quote unquote larger bands are looking for other people to tour with, they are going to gravitate towards the people who got their shit together.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth.
And I'm kind of curious, like opening for those bands, not just opening on their shows, but going on tour with them, which is a very big distinction from opening a show for a band that is bigger than you versus going on tour with them. Like when you go on tour with someone, like it's almost like it's the only thing that I can kind of equivalate. What's the word?
Equate.
Thank you, Babs. The only thing I can equate it to is like when I spend a week in the studio with a band, like we are inevitably closer as a unit at the end of that week than we are at the beginning of the week, because you learn so many things about yourself. Like it's a very intimate process making a record together. And I feel like going on tour is kind of the exact same thing. Like when you see the same people that are, yesterday were strangers and now you're like waking up in the same hotel as them or crashing at the same somebody's house with them. Like you see people through different windows when you go on tour with them. I'm wondering that, like, what does it feel like to go on tour with, especially on the grand scheme of like Canadian heavier bands? Like, I want to say that you guys just hopped on those tours and everything was pretty buttery because you guys know what you're doing. But was there any like, oh shit, touring with Comeback Kid is actually a little bit of eye opener? Like, was there any of those feelings in any of those tours?
I think the only thing that was eye opening for me was on any of those tours that we did, there was always like an intimidation I felt before they started, just because, especially with Cancer Bats and Comeback Kid, they're maybe the reason I do this, as being bands that brought me out to shows when I was still a teenager. And then watching that intimidation dissolve after like 5 minutes of being with people and realize, everyone's pretty chill and just trying to do what they love together, you know?
Yeah, we've had the fortunate opportunity to only go on these tours with bands that seem to be like major chillers. Like we haven't had to deal with the extreme personalities that maybe exist within bands in this world. Very thankful for that, because it's meant that every tour has been very positive. But in the same sense, like everyone welcomed us with open arms on those tours. Like I never felt like we had to prove ourselves to be there. Even like meeting Comeback Kid, and Andrew was like, "Oh, I haven't listened to you yet because I heard you guys are so good live," and like wanted to take it in before having judgment.
Yeah,
and like again, as Dwayne said, like those are bands that got us into hardcore and got us into this world.
Yeah, now they're giving you your flowers.
and they're just like, the first thing they're saying to us is compliments. Like it kind of breaks the walls down very quickly.
And it goes to show how all of the work that you've done up to that point has gone to serve you. Bands that you look up to are now feeding you compliments. It kind of gives you a little bit of affirmation of like, okay, I think we're doing the right thing here a little bit.
And you got to remember that everybody's just a person.
Yeah.
We put people on pedestals. Like, they're just other people playing music who have just gotten the chances to do it longer and larger than we have.
I also feel like another big thing, like doing those tours, I've learned is that everyone is doing things differently. There isn't a model.
Yeah.
There isn't a model to touring. There isn't a way that you prepare for a show. There isn't a way you perform your show. There isn't something you do after the show that makes it better or, you know, helps you along the way for the next one. It's people have all just figured it out as they went. So it really puts it into perspective that you almost can't do anything wrong as long as you're enjoying the time you're having and being respectful to people, then you're doing it right. Like we've played with bands where everything set lists are printed and taped to the floor, and then you're with Cancer Bats and Liam's ripping up a pizza box and writing a new set list every night, and you're like, oh, so you can change the set list every night. It's not the same set every night, and you're not, running the exact same set you rehearsed for like 3 weeks straight for this tour. It's like, it can be that way, or it can be the other way, and there's no right or wrong. It's whatever works for the band, and I think that's the thing you don't realize at first is you're trying to be a band and trying to act like a band, but I don't know if anybody knows what being in a band is like. Supposed to be like.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a way it's supposed to be. I think it's whatever makes you happy.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're dealing with a group of personalities.
Yeah.
And you have to learn to exist with those personalities. There's always going to be days where people get on each other's nerves, and that's no exception to any band.
Yeah.
Like there's no getting around that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's learning to be yourself, but also the best of yourself to help provide for your fellow friends who you're choosing to do this with.
Yeah.
And when you choose to do tours with other bands, like when we're with Birds and Row, who are from France, and they don't have the ability to just grab a van and grab all this gear, and we respect them, we're just going to say, hey, we're going to make this easy for you, and we're all just going to learn to work with each other as we do it.
Yeah. It's,
You got to drop the ego, right? Like you just have to, everybody's there for the same reason.
Yeah. I mean, you referenced it a couple times already, but it is a job. It really feels like work. And you treat the people that you're in the van with the same way that you treat your coworkers at your desk job or in the kitchen or wherever it is you work. Like, the people surrounding you take precedent over anything. And like, you could play the most amazing show in the world, but if you get back in the van and everybody hates each other, what the fuck's the point?
You can't bottle those emotions. Like you have to be able to look at, I mean, for me, these are my best friends. I would hope that if I was bothering them, one of them would be like, yo, man, not cool.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh shit, sorry. Like, cause you get so caught up and be goofy in the van because you're in there for 8 hours, 10 hours, 4 hours, you never know. That sometimes you take things a little too far, and you gotta be able to talk to your people about that and just say, yo, like, I wasn't down with that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like, and I think the trials and tribulations of the road can turn mountains out of molehills, and it's easy for bands to get, and friendships to get ruined because of those types of things. And I mean, we've certainly learned that with each other the hard way, but the love and respect we have for each other has always prevailed, if we'll say.
Yeah. I hope everybody who plays music can experience what you guys experience, because it's just like, I talked about this on a previous episode with Luke from the Dirty Nil, where, him and Kyle, their drummer, are like two peas in a pod. Like they've been playing music together for 20 years. And, we talked about like what a rarity it is to not only have a friend for 20 years, but someone that you can create with and build this beautiful empire with. And the fact that the four of you met each other in the same town to create what you've done, like, is magical. Like this, whether it's luck or whether it's not, or just circumstance, like what you guys have is so special. And I think if bands find themselves with people that they get along with, like, and I've said this before, like, take it and run. Like, don't take that for granted. Like, go hard with it if you can, because it's such a rare opportunity.
There's got to be some kudos given to Babs and Sean, because Dwayne and I are 19 years of friendship.
Wow.
And also very big personalities to deal with sometimes. And we talk over each other a lot. So
It's 20 this year.
is it 20 this year?
Congratulations.
Yeah, so like, I don't have any friends from that long ago.
Yeah.
Other than you. And for Sean to only have met me through this band and been an absolute rock. And same with Babs. I mean, met me through other bands, but I've been very fortunate with all three of you to just meet you, and you guys have just unwaveringly accepted me for who I was. And when you're a kid, that's hard to feel because you always feel like you're trying to fit in. And I never had to feel that way with any three of them. So it's very special. And I hope anyone who's sharing art together feels that way with the people that they're sharing it with.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's not the end of the world, but it's a fucking special thing when
Yeah.
you do.
People are probably curious a little bit how a band from Halifax that has done a ton of DIY touring can tour with bands like Single Mothers and Cancer Bats and Comeback Kid and Burns and Row. Like, those are not little bands to, like, especially in our world. Like, those are some pretty killer bands to tour with. Like, how did you guys get the opportunity to experience touring with those bands? How did it get there?
I think with the Cancer Bats and Comeback Kid one, it would all be credited to Liam, because Liam became a friend of ours when we played a festival that no longer exists back in Halifax together. And then he moved there. And because of my relationship with motorcycles at the time, we kind of fostered a friendship, which then led into all of us becoming quite tight with him. So when they were doing that tour, that leg of it kind of just spurred out of him being
Right.
like, I want to throw you this bone, which thankfully he did, because
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. And then the rest of it, certainly when you get to do an opportunity like that, people take notice. It's the same thing. Like, oh, this band did this. There must be something there.
Yeah.
We should get them to do that. So
Slight air of credibility that gets
it's a domino effect
Yeah.
that
It could also be like reputation. Like, these
Reputation.
guys
Yeah,
take it seriously.
If I can interject, I feel like it's more so all the things we talked about before. Like almost every opportunity we have is from meeting people on tour in those DIY tours back in the early days and just being ourselves. You know, just showing up, being ourselves, meeting people and creating friendships. And I don't think that's like a friendship handout or anything. I think that people saw something in us and saw our professionalism and kind of ran with that. And people in bands we toured with in the earlier days then went on to book shows and promote shows. And I think those things just kept snowballing as we went. So the opportunities just kept coming and coming. Like a lot of those opportunities, like credits due where it's due, is from Breezy.
Yeah, Matt Breezy.
And us like touring together in the Hellbent days when he was still playing a lot of live music, and now he's a booking agent for a lot of those bands. And I think we just made it so easy for him, and the bands we went on tour with that he set us up with just had such a good time that offers just kept coming.
Yeah, I not to take credit for your success or whatever, but I think the first show I
First
booked for
Hellbent
you
show.
guys in Hamilton was with Hellbent, which they were not able to play that night. Because
wonder
of some-
why.
Yeah, that's a whole story time in and of itself of that show. But
it does come back to that. You never know what's like all the biggest DIY labels that everybody wants to be a part of started small. Like it is a luck and domino effect. Like they sign the right band that gets popular and everybody kind of prospers. So
Yeah.
like you got to go, in my mind, you got to go out and do this just because you want to and just have fun with that.
Yeah,
And if it gets bigger, just ride the wave.
yeah. And you've said it before, but like, yeah, honesty goes a long way. It
Yeah.
goes so much farther than anything, because if you're honest about what you do and who you are and what you create, like, you don't have to answer to anybody because you firmly believe in it. You don't have to put on a front whatsoever.
Well, yeah, like how exhausting would it be if every time you went on tour you were putting on a mask?
Yeah. I mean, these guys, ask them.
Yeah,
It's different. It's different.
but I think
that's comes off
That's
in
still
the
who
bus.
they are, I think.
like I do feel that, like, other than in the confines of my own home, the most unmasked I feel is on tour. I feel like I'm my true self on tour. I'm acting straight from the heart without thinking about how other people could perceive it.
Right.
And in my day-to-day life, I feel like a lot of the time I am thinking, does this person like me? How does this person feel about this situation? And I think early on, I just realized that I think it was half, meeting new people every night and being like, oh, I might never see them again. So I might as well be 100% myself. So if I have any advice to anybody, it's just be yourself and do this for the reason that you want to do it. Because otherwise, it's just going to be exhausting for you.
It also filters down to like there's a lot of younger bands that from our hometown that viewed us at one point in time as maybe this big band, and you have to break those walls down so that they feel comfortable to come to you for advice.
Yeah.
And within reason, but like to pretend to be macho guy from Botfly, like that's not me. Yo, man, I was just depressed and wrote some songs and it helped me out. And somehow I'm still here doing it. Thankfully, I feel a hell of a lot better in my head and I'm able to just keep doing this with my friends. And I feel like things are progressing in a great way. But like, you have to foster the youth. This whole thing is for the youth.
Yeah.
The fact that we're in our 30s and are still accepted is crazy.
Yeah.
You can't treat them like kids at the same time, and you got to just break those walls down. And if they want to know something, you can't gatekeep that.
Yeah. Gatekeeping's never helped anybody.
No.
Not even the person who's gatekeeping.
Yeah, it's true.
I want to ask you guys a wrap-up question of advice that you would give to young people who are trying to kind of get their foot off the ground in regards to touring. But and this may be passé, and I might need to cut this out, but I'm not sure. I know you guys are fans of another podcast, Hard Lore.
Yeah.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't borrow something that they do and pass it on to you guys, as I do think it would be worthy to note. You can answer one of these two questions that they ask on their podcast. One, who do you do? Or B, you're driving down the highway and you see the impossible food court that has every place ever. Yeah. Where are you stopping?
I think we can both answer, or we can all answer both those questions.
Please do.
I think
for people, you should go listen to Hard Lore if you haven't. But who do you do means who on stage do you kind of embody and take influence from? So yeah, who do you do?
This is for the who do you do? I'm gonna take any top level icon out of the equation, and this is personally just based on what I've noticed in the last few years. Is that it's Tucker Rule and Jamie Morgan.
Okay,
where are you eating, brother?
To elaborate on that, I just feel like a lot of the energy and vibe that I bring is from seeing and hearing how they were on stage in the early days.
Right. Animalistic.
Yeah. Tucker from Thursday and Jamie from Code Orange. I saw Code Orange in a bowling alley in PEI, and Jamie threw the kit around the stage. And
well, you've never done that.
No,
I've never seen you do that.
But you're still doing you, even though you're doing.
Yeah. And there was like maybe 20 people at that show.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think that's why I perform as hard as I do, the less people there is. This is probably a consensus across the board. If we're stopping, are we putting elevated fast food?
We're going to Taco Bell.
Are we putting elevated fast food on it?
Portillo's?
I mean, Portillo's.
I think Portillo's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Taco Bell.
If we're in the States.
I think if we're going down the
more-
line, I think that's going to be the answer the whole way.
I mean, that is
Portillo's? Or Taco Bell?
Oh, yeah.
Or Taco Bell.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Taco Bell.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never had Portillo's, so I have to say Taco Bell.
Drive
Sean
yourself to
didn't
Chicago.
have the beef sandwich anyway,
No,
so
and
he's
like-
stuck with the dogs, veggie dogs, and
Yeah.
they
I mean, the
shut
veggies
that.
are good. But yeah, they shut them down early.
What?
Half an
Stop
hour
serving
before
them at 10 o'clock.
Oh, I wonder why. There's got to be some inside
to
baseball
ruin
as to
the fucking
why.
night. That's the only reason why.
Sean, who do you do?
It's interesting that you mentioned that Code Orange show because like I was there too,
Where?
Yeah.
Sorry, where was this show?
In the bowling alley in Charlottetown.
In Charlottetown.
Yeah, Bane played the show as well. It was fucking amazing.
What a show.
But yeah, I'm ripping their bass player for sure.
Yeah.
It's
I
like,
have never thought about that, but that is so true.
Yeah. Honestly, like
The moment you started saying that Code Orange, I was,
Yeah.
holy shit, he is.
straight up, it's like taking his vibe and Scott from Chem Mode. That's kind of it.
Yeah.
That's it. And yeah, Taco Bell. Of
course.
It's like straight up late night beans.
Yeah.
So I need it, you know?
Hard shell or soft?
Ooh. Honestly, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The cheesy bean and rice burrito. It's like
Honestly,
I'm
I've
getting
covered-
2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, I've come around to that order too. As a big meat eater, that's the order. You can't beat that bang for the buck.
It's so good.
I usually do 5 hard tacos with the dome and call it in there.
That's incredible. That's
hard.
Doritos Locos
Way hard.
specifically.
I had one of those for
Once
the
you
first time the
go
other day.
Doritos
So good.
Locos, you can't go back to the regular. It tastes like paper.
Yeah.
You always got to go Dorito. If they ever get rid of that, I'm going to be gutted.
I like to think that I'm doing a blend of Josh Scoggin from The Chariot and Nate Newton.
Okay.
But I'm pretty tied to a microphone these days. I've
Right.
really written myself into standing in one spot. So I think if you saw me now, that might not be the case. But in my head, that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, Josh is an interesting reference point because you have, in 68, a different story, but in The Chariot,
Yeah.
he's not bound by any sort
No.
of guitar
And
or pedal
I
board.
wish. I wish.
I'm just gonna jump back in. I would never think of it, and it's never on purpose. And I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but the drummer in The Chariot, I'm definitely doing that too.
Oh, yeah. The Chariot
It's like the performance is almost more important to me in the moment and the energy than actually playing correctly.
Right. The Chariot, sorry to go a little bit into the Chariot hole, but
Never need to be sorry
if
about
you
that.
are in a heavy band and you have not heard of the Chariot,
You're missing out.
you listen to them, listen to Long Live in One Wing and everything that they've done, but got to go on YouTube and watch that band play live. There's that one show that they played,
Perth.
Perth. Was that the house show?
Yeah, where they got kicked out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they
There's
got
that
into
one.
the house. Yeah.
They documented so much, which is beautiful for our viewing pleasure. There's that one. They played Russia, I think in Moscow. I think they played with Every Time I Die. That is that was like a mind-blowing, oh my God, I didn't know you could do this show.
I
yeah.
saw them in Ottawa at like a 400 cap
Wow.
with Every Time I Die, and I think that show changed my life.
Yeah, I bet it would. And then there's another one where they played like a school. I think it was like Bloodfest or something like that. And the bass player threw his P bass as far as the eye could see into
didn't
the
play.
crowd.
He just never played.
Does he,
No.
does he ever play? Within the first note of when I saw them, the bass was on the stage and he was in the crowd,
Yeah.
but the song was still going.
So you should have done last night, Sean.
Honestly, I was thinking about it.
There's always tonight.
Yeah.
The P bass wasn't with him.
Yeah.
He had to be
Yeah.
protective.
But the P bass over time crowd surfed back to him in the crowd.
Wait,
So
Portillo's.
Yeah, we
beef
really went in the
sandwich.
Chariot.
Oh man.
wait, are you going Portillo's over Taco Bell?
The thing is,
We're going to Taco Bell. If it's a consensus, we're going to Taco Bell.
Portillo's is regional.
Okay.
I know
course.
that the question is like the Golden Gate. It doesn't matter where you are that's on the list, but we gotta be realistic.
Yeah.
If I'm in the area, I'm getting Portillo's. If I'm in the area, I'm getting In and Out.
Yeah.
But if I'm just on the continent, I gotta go to Taco Bell because I know it's there.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Jim's Steakout in Buffalo. Like
Yeah.
if I'm within a walking radius of a Jim's Steakout, like I gotta go over anything else in the world. Babs, who do you do?
I think I try to do Ben Wyman from the Dillinger Escape Plan.
Oh, okay.
And Aaron North from Nine Inch Nails. He played in like a really specific period, but he loved to throw shit around and knock stuff over.
Right.
And I used to watch their rehearsal videos on YouTube when I was real small. And I think it laid a lasting effect.
The run to the amp and push it over a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
People love that gag.
Yeah.
And I might be In and Out. I might be full on In and Out.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's incredible.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well,
Didn't the guy? No, that was Taco Bell. He had the whole Taco Bell fit on. Remember? I think we were in Denver. We went to a drive-through, and he had the Taco Bell hat
I do not
I
recall.
think it was the teal and purple colors. Oh, it was so cool.
Talking about like the old like 90s aesthetic thing. Oh, that's incredible.
It was so cool.
Shout out to whoever that is. If you're listening, please just drop a comment on
Highly
whatever.
doubtful, but you know,
You never know.
just know that I'll think about you forever.
Forever.
We'll end on this note. Meet a kid at a show tonight that's in a band, has played a few local shows, has maybe played within an hour of their hometown. It's like, I really want to go on tour. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. 5 minutes or less, what can you recommend to any young person that wants to embark on the touring lifestyle for the first time?
Send us a message.
Maybe let's go down the line because I think everybody has a different
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
view
I
on
think that's a
this.
good
We'll go in reverse order. We'll start
Sure,
with Babs
sure.
and backwards.
I think a lot of younger bands still fall victim to waiting for someone to ask them to take them to go out with them.
Good point.
That was
Yeah.
like a big thing in Halifax. When I was doing sound, people would like young bands would ask me because I did sound at an all ages venue, and they were like, "How do we go on tour?" And I'd be like, "Stop waiting for some band from Ontario to ask you to go.
Yeah.
Book it yourself. Hit up venues. Try to find shows. I think you just kind of have to do it. And then if you have questions, reach out to the bands in your area that are touring. Who are your contacts? What should we take? Like, there's so many things you need to be prepared for, and a band like us is so willing to help and get you ready for that.
And also, I to interject, do it from a DIY independent.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you're going
Do
to be
it
like,
yourself.
oh, go get a manager. It's like, no,
No.
DIY.
Do it yourself.
Exactly.
Do it yourself. Do not wait for someone to do it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took us 8 years before we got an offer
Yeah.
to do a tour as an opening slot.
Do not wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a big one, and I know that we would all preach that one to just you can't expect, especially as an early band, that anyone knows who you are. So they're not going to ask you to go on tour.
and I guess like be upfront and be like, we're a new band, we're touring.
Yeah.
Please don't put us last. Like, try to have like a local
Yeah,
headline. Do the local band sandwich.
Yeah, another huge thing is no risk, no reward.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to lose out a little bit, maybe you're not ready. Because never once, even to this tour we're on right now, do we think, are we going to make money?
Right.
We're confident in what we'll probably do, but that's only because we've got 9-10 years of doing it. But if you're not willing to just go out and do it for the love of doing it, you might want to rethink why you want to do it.
Crucial.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, you really, like, you got to be ready for, like, the situation to not be great. Like, our very first tour, we threw way too much gear into my Hyundai Santa Fe, and fucking, we were bottoming out in the fucking back the entire fucking run.
Wow.
It was terrible. Like, we couldn't see out any of the windows.
We've destroyed like 4 vehicles.
we go through so many. And, like, yeah, you
Not
just,
in car accidents.
No, no. Yeah, it's like, you just, like, you have to just do it, and because you want to do it, you know? And like, you just have to be willing to do what it takes to make it happen. Like in the beginning, it's like, it's hard to get the means together to like get a van or even like rent a van for a long period of time. But I mean, like, just throw some shit in a vehicle and go. It's like, hit up a band. You like, see what they're doing. It's like, just go.
Yeah. Every band is stoked to get a DM.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe on that point, if you're a band getting that DM, don't be afraid to say you can't play, but still help.
Yeah. Point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
You were that kid once, and you don't want to be the person that makes it more difficult because it's already hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was planning to go message a band somewhere else close to your region and then kind of just, you know, we'll take care of this side, you take care of that side. Or even if it's like really early on, like just start reaching out to promoters, and then maybe that promoter has a suggestion of a band in the area that would want to do a couple dates with you. It kind of, I would say in the early days, puts a little stress off the gear situation because one band could have this much gear, the other band could have the drum kit. You're not trying to have 2 giant vans full of gear going back and forth. We didn't really do a lot of that in the early days, but I did find when we did have that luxury, it not only fueled, I guess, decreased the risks that we felt, but it also, in the end, forged more and more friendships as we went along. And also, like, when you're at a show, like, talk to people. I think that's the most important thing. Like, we booked our Hamilton show because we played with Vince, 2 to 3 years earlier, right? And we're still friends to this day. And it was just a cold DM.
Yeah.
Just to be like, hey, you were cool. Your band was cool. Do you want to do this? And you were like, we're not a band anymore, but I can help you.
Yeah. Just planting seeds.
I've got one more thing I'd like to add too. It's really easy to see these big bands do these cool packages of like 4 or 5 bands, and the shows are huge and awesome. You don't need or should want to do that right away. When you are traveling as a touring band with no following or just an early following, and you're trying to do it with 3 other bands that have the same small following, you are hurting yourself because you remove the ability for a good local to help you out. And no booker wants to book a package of 3 bands that no one's ever heard of. Yeah. So don't, again, to the not being afraid, just go out and do it on your own. Mm-hmm. And eventually you may get to a point where you can do it with one other band, or you can do it with three bands.
It's okay to do it on your own.
It's okay to do it on your own. And that's all we almost had a rule that we wouldn't do it as a split just because it was more difficult.
Right.
And it didn't work for either band. Like, no one won.
Yeah.
That could be different now, but I think it still rings true.
I think you're right. I think there is something to be said about doing it yourself, not doing it alone, but doing it yourself. And I think
but it's doing it together.
Yeah.
Like, you're not alone because you're meeting the people along the way. And that's the stepping stone to building the foundation. Mm-hmm. You don't just jump on a pile of pebbles and hope it's going to hold you up.
Yeah.
You know,
and just relying on people in other towns goes a long way just to learn from it. And I feel like you'll learn very quickly whether you can sink or swim, and that alone is an incredibly good educational experience.
Yeah,
I just need to pop in and say one thing is that when you are booking these tours, don't take the yes as a confirmed yes, this is going to happen. Check in with promoters or anybody that says they're going to help you, because in the last moment, you will lose most of your tour and you'll be out there with like 4 or 5 days off just struggling to find something to play.
Yeah.
If someone says yes and you don't talk to them for 6 months, they
That's
might not.
That's
they,
a no.
That's a.
they forgot.
They forgot, and that's on you for not checking in. So, constantly be checking in, constantly ask for updates, be annoying, because most promoters have too much going on, or they're just people doing it for the love of doing it, and they have their own lives they're trying to schedule and organize, and you might get pushed to the side by accident.
Yeah, there's no harm in following up.
Also, the first time you play somewhere, you're probably doing it with the wrong promoter, and you will meet the right one.
Yeah. Someone from the show will come to you and be like, why'd you book with this guy? And you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. But that again, to what Dwayne said about talking to people, like, you will meet the right people if you're willing to go out and do it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that person's got too much on their plate to know who you are before you're there.
Yeah.
I know that was way more than 5 minutes.
That's totally fine. I mean, so many questions popped into my head that I could ask, but we might go on to 2 hours if I do.
Patreon,
the bonus episode. I have confidence that you guys will be back in the area in the future, so maybe we can do this again. But I really want to thank all 4 of you for coming and chatting in my weird little practice space. I dressed it up as best as I could, but
I love it.
Yeah, you get the lights going.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I really feel like I'm about to try out some guitars or something in here.
Yeah, we're definitely doing like pedal shootouts later. Yeah,
that's so much better than listening to them play synths at Long McQuaid. So thank you.
That's next on the agenda.
Shout out to Long McQuaid. We're on our way, brothers.
Not me and Vince. We're going to get donuts.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and excited to see you play tonight.
Thank you, Vince.
Take it easy. And there you have it, episode number 4 with Botfly. I love this band so much. They've been good friends of mine for such a long time, so it was amazing to sit down and have this chat with them. And in this digital age of music, I hope this episode has given you some inspiration and reminders as to why playing music in front of people and playing shows and going to shows is so vital to the growth of your band and the health of your music scene. Botfly literally never stops touring, so follow them on social media, find them wherever they are, and check their tour dates, because the likelihood of them coming to a town near you is pretty high. And I can guarantee you, you will not be disappointed by their performance. They're one of the best bands I've ever seen live, and they continue to be that. This episode was a bit of a long one, so if you're still with me at the end of this episode, drop the People's Champion in the comments so I know that you're a real one and you stuck around to the end. And before I sign off, I just want to give one more plug to the demo template and encourage you to download it today and start making music. I've already had a bunch of bands reach out to me saying that they've been using this template and it has been absolutely instrumental in their current songwriting process. They've been writing more songs, higher quality songs, and have a better vision for what their songs will become once they hit the studio. So if you're interested in using the demo template, please visit vincesoliveri.com/template and start writing your next best songs today. Thanks again for listening to this episode of the Build Your Own Band podcast, and see you on the next one.